Welcome to the Curry Gumbo podcast with Nicole and Ashley, and today we have a new movie to review. Stay tuned. We start at a funeral. Is that where we start? Was the funeral the first scene?
No, we start anywhere USA. Someone has been killed and he is covered in gold chains. I am assuming that this is Junebug.
Yes.
And so we know that there's some shady business going on because the police officer kind of makes shifty eye contact with some large black man in a suit. If I see a police officer looking like an agreement has been made with his eyes to someone, I'm like, what's going on? So that prompts Jack Spade to come home because that's his brother who has passed on. And
okay. So we see the crime scene of the guy just wearing like a ridiculous amount of chains. Because first,
it's
like,
like a
oh, he got.
suit of chains, a
Because
suit.
first, it's under the pretense that he got, I guess, robbed for his chain, and shoot, like a typical story would be, oh, this man got gunned down over a chain, but this was like 50,000 chains on one, so it's like that's something like, oh, this must be a parody of whatever. I don't know. Cause I'm like, okay, like what are we doing here? Like, what are we making fun of? Cause this is just ridiculous.
I wish that, and this is, I think we'll probably need to do a part two of this because I would love to know what was happening in the 80s that
Well,
this is a reaction to.
okay.
So I think that you do have like so I think hip hop is like
Coming
really
out,
finding its
yeah.
legs, and
A lot of gold chains.
the paraphernalia of that is maybe what we are critiquing.
Yeah.
But I also think that in the same vein of Hollywood Shuffle, we are making fun of the black films that make fun of black communities, black films
Mm-hmm.
that have more than likely no black people behind the camera.
Right.
I watched an interview with Keenan Ivory Wayans, and he said that the the idea was sparked by Eddie Murphy, and they were
Like a
all like
comedy
Eddie.
special or
No,
like
just
a
the entire. I no, they were sitting around like hanging
oh,
out,
okay.
and it was Keenan Ivory Wayans, Eddie Murphy, and some other people. And he said, like, wouldn't it be funny if we made a movie where we were making fun of other black movies, and it was just called "I'm Gonna Get You Sucka"? And so, like,
Okay.
months later, Keenan Ivory Wayans is saying, like, that actually would be a good idea. Let me call him and see if he was going to do anything with it. And he said he wasn't, and so Keenan Ivory Wayans just ran with it. He also mentioned that the production company tried to like kill the film. They like were not putting them in a lot of theaters, but they found that it
I can
tested
see that. I
so
can
well.
understand that.
I can understand that. I mean, I think, like, have you seen Hollywood Shuffle?
Yes.
See, I've never seen. I've recently watched Hollywood Shuffle, and when you bring it up, I think that me and my friends are like, it's like you favor one or the other, and I'm like, I favor. I'm gonna get you sucker. Like people will say, if you say like, if I say, hey, have you seen I'm gonna get you sucker? I don't think someone saying no, but I've seen Hollywood Shuffle. Like that to me is a response that I would not be shocked by.
Mm,
But
I
I don't know
guess.
like how Hollywood Shuffle did. I don't know.
I mean, like in the box office.
Yeah, because I would think that wouldn't you want to continue the success of that?
They seemed almost like two different types of movies because Hollywood Shuffle was more about him trying to be an actor and the ridiculous stuff he had to come across trying to being a working actor. It went like behind the scenes of the audition process.
But I
Whereas
think that
this is more like this was just crazy.
Well, I think that there is a breaking of the fourth wall when you have Mr. Big confronting Jack, and Mr. Big is saying, "What? You don't think that a high-powered white actor would play in a
Oh
black
yeah.
exploitation film?" I think that the movie is aware of itself in that way. Like they know that they're the ridiculousness is meant to critique the ridiculousness of black exploitation films, I find.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I wouldn't compare this to Hollywood Shuffle.
But
I
I thought
wouldn't.
Hollywood Shuffle was also doing that. Like saying, look at how ridiculous this is for like us to be playing these stereotypical roles.
Yeah. But it's to me Hollywood Shuffle, I don't know, just seemed like more like a behind the scenes of what's it just seemed more realistic
I see what you're saying.
than this movie. Like I can see it's like I feel like Robert Townsend was shedding light on the struggles black actors were going through.
Hmm.
Like this is what we go through. Do y'all
Hmm.
not see this is what we going through?
Hmm.
Like yeah, to me it was more realistic, but in
So
a
I
good
guess what
way.
I feel like the intention is the same, but the route that they took may have been different.
Yeah. This is definitely more comedy. I'm gonna get you sucker is just comedy. Just straight for laughs.
Slapstick,
Right.
ridiculousness, irreverent.
I was surprised to see Kadeem Hardison and Don Lewis. Uh
Why?
I just did not expect to see either of them in a movie, even though this is 1988 and a different
Hmm.
world. This is still prime a different world season because the different world went on until like the mid 90s, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
I have no idea what they were doing besides. I'm honestly, in my brain, I probably thought they just doing a different world and that's it. When a different world ends, they go on vacation and come back when a different world starts back up again.
I mean, I'm certainly after a different world. Kadeem Hardison is in Vampire in Brooklyn. I think Kadeem
Yeah.
Hardison is in a lot of um I think he's in more film than I would probably give him credit for because he's
Mhm.
not a leading man most of the
No, he
time.
was in a basketball movie. And not White Man Can't Jump, but something wasn't like some basketball movie in the 90s. Let
I
me
feel
pull
like I'm
up
with
his
Tupac.
stuff. Probably.
Tupac. It's not He Got Game. It's the other one. SWV was on the soundtrack.
Um, let me see. Kadeem Hardison. The Sixth Man. Him and Marlon. Marlon was in that.
Oh, never mind. That's not what I was thinking of.
Let me see. Was there another one?
I was thinking about like they were in high school. Um,
Oh, he was in White Man Can't Jump.
Dang, see that?
Is that right? Was he? Yeah,
They're
he was
saying
in
that this
White Man
man
Can't
is in
Jump.
school days. This man's IMDb lit.
He,
Kareem
you know,
Hardison gets to
he
work.
been working. He's been consistent.
He's in the Fantasia Barrino story.
Oh, he played her daddy. I think I remember that. Yeah, he stayed working. Yes, but I
A
was
wonderful
surprised
character actor.
to see him and Don Lewis and who was the mama?
Jeanette Dubois.
Oh yeah, Walona.
My Belle,
I was like, look at
who
this
is just
cast.
lovely. Everybody is showing the fuck out in this. Like they have really wonderful actors. I mean, I think we get. I mean, is this Chris Rock's film debut?
Probably.
and he steals the scene.
Oh yeah, with the I want one rib. Like
I
you want to
mean, he's
order
on
ribs?
the.
No, one rib.
I would give that an Oscar nomination. Do you like? I remember people making fun or mimicking him for like
Yeah, I
years
remember
after
that
this.
line. Even like I've never seen this movie. This is my first time seeing this movie, but I do remember. I remember that line. I guess from people saying it.
Yeah, like let me get a sip, 15 cents. Like you just remember that. Like everyone is super memorable here.
So we were saying, okay, after this crime scene of the gold chains of Junior, and um we go back to the apartment with Don Lewis and Jeanette Dubois. Don Lewis is Junior's wife. Jeanette is his mother.
Hmm.
And then we get this is when we get Kadeem Hardison and
And
I don't
Damon
want to get the
Wayans
name.
come in.
Damon. Yeah, I'm
Damon
like, I don't
Wayans.
want to. I'm like, I don't want to get the names mixed up. They come in trying to, I guess, I was like gangsters
Hmm.
trying to extort money, saying Junior, who's gone, owes them money, owes them money or owes their boss money, and that's when we get kind of like a hilarious fight scene. Like it's just like okay.
There's something about Ma Bell that feels very like she's very maternal. Like
Mhm.
she loves her children. She loves her children. She loves Cheryl. But you better not fuck with her
Nope.
cuz she will kill you. She's like
And
a
we saw
fucking
that
ninja,
she was
kicking
swinging.
everybody ass.
This is where Medea got her or Tyler Perry got the
Yep,
inspiration from Medea. I know
clearly.
he said his mama and his auntie or whoever, but this is big Medea energy,
And
especially with the floral Mumu.
it's not offensive to me because I mean, Michelle Wallace, the myth of the macho man and the black superwoman, and you don't want to um we don't want to like always label black women as strong and as
Right.
supernatural because that folks will assume that black women
No.
can handle pain more than
Yeah.
they should, and so we see that happening. You go to a hospital. I mean, I've been in the hospital. I'm like, I think I have the flu. No, you don't. No, you don't. You just sit. Well, you know what? I think I have the flu, but because I'm not laid the fuck out, because I have not
Mhm.
been taught to faint every time something happens,
Or you're
you
not
believe that I'm
crying
not in
or
pain.
hyperventilating, talking about, oh my God, something's wrong with me.
Yeah. So I think especially now black women are really cautious about seeing a strong black female figure on screen. We know how to properly critique that, but I am
Mhm.
not offended by Ma Bell. I'm
Mm-mm.
I'm just not.
I'm not. I wasn't either. Okay, so Jack Spade, Keenan Ivory Wayans, he comes home. He's in a military get up. So we're assuming he's home from, I guess, wherever he was stationed in the military.
Mhm.
He comes home to his mother and sister in law, but it seems like they got a little thing going on. And we later found out they had a thing going on. So I
Can
was
we
like,
just discuss?
I was a little confused. I'm like, so this your sister in law, right? But then
So
we find out
she was dating Jack first.
first,
Jack goes
yeah.
off to the army and
And
then
then
she
she
starts
dates,
dating
well, then she
Junebug because
marries Junebug.
She
because that
said
was his wife.
she only did that because he reminded
Him
her
of
of that.
that, that's
I
so
just want to
crazy.
know what does my Belle have to say about this?
Exactly.
But we never get that conversation, and I don't know if that's a deleted scene. I don't know, but I just or maybe my Belle understands. Maybe my Belle really likes Cheryl and wants her around, but I
He
feel
wants
like
her
that
in the
was some
family. I don't know.
yeah, like that was some funkiness that I was like, I would really like to see that conversation because I mean, my Belle is a boy mom,
Mhm.
and we hear certain things about them how they are with their damn sons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I could see her looking at Cheryl with the damn side eye.
Be like, you hussy.
Exactly. I don't
That was
know.
very interesting. So so as the I guess the thugs, Damon and Kadeen are leaving. This is when Jack comes in.
Hmm.
And oh, they were trying to kidnap what are their real
Cheryl.
names? Cheryl. They're trying to kidnap
Yeah.
Cheryl, but then that's where Mama slapped them up. And then so they have to go back to the boss and being like, "Oh, where's you either need the money or the girl." And so they trying to figure out how to I guess how to get Cheryl so they can give her to the boss. And then Jack Spade, he wants I guess revenge on his brother. Let me read this. Okay, I'm gonna read this. I found the description, which is makes even more sense to me because I didn't realize this is what this was about. So Jack Spade comes home from to the ghetto to find his brother dead from a gold chain overdose. Now I'm thinking, I guess in the 90s we see people fighting or getting shot over a chain because stealing, with an armed robbery type of thing. But they're saying it's a gold chain overdose. And with the help of his hero, John Slade, the team of washed up crime fighters, Spade declares vengeance on Mr. Big, the white crime leader responsible for selling gold chains on the streets. So it's like they're using gold chains as a metaphor for drugs. But Spade realizes that he must take matters into his own hands to finish the job in the zany spoof of 1970s black exploitation films.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that the gold chains could serve as a way of like critiquing the paraphernalia
Well, this is
of
comparing
black
it to
folks, but
drugs.
I think
Yeah.
it is also making not making light of the crack epidemic, but so in a black exploitation film,
Well, we saw
we would have been talking about crack. We would have been talking about real
or
drugs.
drugs because yes, like when we watched. Well, the only one I've seen was when we did Coffee. But
Hmm.
reading up on the other ones, the other films, it's all drugs. It's like drugs
It's
and
always
prostitutes.
about that.
It's drugs and
It's always
prostitutes.
about that.
That's
And
it.
it's always about I think that
Someone
one
trying to fight or take down the drug boss or the drug lord. Like that's
and the
all the
drug
movies are.
bosses are typically white.
Right. Yeah.
The folks at the top are typically white men or white women
Yes.
who are like siphoning the life out of these black communities by pumping drugs into them. And that is often the critique. I don't think that they could have talked I don't think that it had to be gold because it needed to be something light. Like I don't
Yes.
think you can make fun
Of
of drug
drugs. No.
addiction in this
Not
way.
in
So
88.
no. I don't
Not
think
in
you could do it
88.
now.
No.
I don't think that you could do it
Well,
now.
now we're in a what do you call it?
Opioid.
Oh, yeah, opioid epidemic all of a sudden. Even though we've been in one since before I was born, but
True.
now.
Cause everybody take a pill for something. You hear me? But rich white kids is having trouble with it, and so now it's an epidemic. Um.
Yes.
Anyway,
So so Jack Spade, he's going to the community and getting together, I guess, a team to
well,
try to fight.
I think now he's just looking for answers. He's
Yeah.
looking for answers, and he's and well, yeah, I guess he initially goes out looking for a team. Yeah, so yeah, not just answers. He knows that he wants a
He
team.
wants to fight because when he left the house, he was like, I'm gonna get whoever did this to my brother. And then the mom was trying to like calm him down. Didn't he have a gun with him? And she was just like, no.
That he does, but that doesn't happen
Oh, that's
just
later.
yet. That happens later in the film. But also, what's interesting to me is like if you want to fight, you can fight with your mama. You
He's
don't
not
need to
gonna
go
fight his
find.
mom.
You can fight with your mom, is what I'm
Oh.
saying. Not against. You don't need to fight your mom, but your mama kicking everybody ass. You can help your mama kick ass.
But the interesting thing when so he notices something's up with his mom. So is this when he takes the older picture of his mom and is asking people like, "Hey, do you know this woman?" And then he finds like an old lover of his mom. It was like, "Yeah, I remember her."
So
And
yeah, so before he goes out, he and his mom are sitting on the couch, and she's opening up her Bible, which is another very black thing, because that is where I think that is black women have their own filing systems. Hey, I need my birth certificate. It's under the mattress. Why the fuck is it under the mattress? But also, wouldn't that be the perfect place to
a
put
safe
a birth
place.
certificate, because you're never going to move it. You're never going to lose it. So of course
Mhm.
put it I need to start keeping shit up under my goddamn mattress. But anyway, um so he just notices that there's a picture, because she's saying like, remember this card that you, this is very so endearing. She's kept the card that he made when he was in grade school. This is a grown ass man now, but she has kept this card. And so he notices like, hey, there's a picture of you and John Slade up in there. What's going on? And she was like, yeah, we were very much in love, you know? So he so now he knows that, oh my goodness, maybe John Slade will help me, because we have this connection via my mom, which is what I feel like, baby, if it wasn't for your mama, you wouldn't have got John Slade.
Yeah.
So you really need to be thanking your fucking mama. Anyway, so yeah, he goes to John Slade. John Slade trying to tell him all these nasty ass stories about his mama. He getting offended. I'm like, John
Mhm.
Slade, what the fuck is your problem? John Slade, who I, even as a young kid, or I mean, I think the older I got, I knew that we were supposed to recognize these people as black film stars. Because me
Oh,
watching this film when I was younger, I hadn't seen anything that Bernie Casey is in. I didn't know that Jim Brown was an actor, like a football player turned actor. I didn't know any of that. I This is the first film that I've seen Jim Brown in. I didn't know Isaac Hayes was the man behind Shaft. Like, I didn't know these things. Like, this is my first time seeing these people, because I think I'm seeing it when I'm what, fucking 5, 10. So I don't know anything about these folks.
so Bernie Casey he was in Cleopatra Jones. Remember you had
Hmm.
mentioned that before. He's in a lot of movies. Uh, Dr. Black, Mr. Hyde. I guess that's another black exploitation movie. Gargoyles and Hitman. So he has a good roster. Now this is making sense because they're getting these 70s. movie stars. 'Cause if this is
Hmm.
supposed to be a um I guess what a parody on black exploitation films, she
Hmm.
should get the stars of these
Yeah.
films. Now it's making
There's a
sense.
there's a paternal coolness that I think Jack is looking for, because he
Mhm.
isn't the like the nerdy guy turned cool, but he is kind of, we know that he's bullied by a family of little people. We know that um he when we think of him as a younger kid, we know that he's not the tough guy. We know that and there's some I think that there's some uneasiness that he has as he tries to establish himself as the hero, right?
Yes.
Because when they start shooting at his ass,
Oh.
that shit,
Oh. Mr. Army, did you not have any type of training?
no,
Kenny
what
don't even know how to duck.
are
Don't even know how to duck.
all these medals is just performative because they is for typing, swimming, surfing, everything but combat. You hear me? Everything but combat. And so he's unlike any black exploitation hero. Because the black exploitation heroes that I think that folks are used to, they're not scared of anything. They're
Oh
not they're
no.
not they're not afraid of white people. They're not afraid to
Nope.
be violent. They're not, and they're strong. If you got into a fight with them, you're going to lose the fight. That's just that. That's not the case with Jack Spade. And I think that he wants I think he wants some training from John Slade, which he gets, but John Slade is kind of reluctant to do that.
Mhm.
I would really like to talk about Anne Marie Johnson, who plays
Oh.
Cherry.
I was just thinking
Someone
about
else
that.
from the Hollywood Shuffle film. Cherry has seen Jack Spade. She got her eye on him,
She had on
and
the red dress.
she has decided that she wants her some of Jack Spade. And I just adore. And again, like, some of it is like, it leans, I mean, maybe not leans on, maybe it is completely ableist. And maybe it is like, because what's wrong with someone who doesn't have a lot of hair on their head?
Oh, I think
What's
but
wrong with somebody? What's
no,
wrong
but
with
this they were exaggerating, and I knew when this happened in The Fresh Prince with Tisha Campbell and Will Smith,
Mhm.
when they had, I think, season 1, it was Will's first earthquake, and he's stuck in the basement with Tisha Campbell. And first she take off her wig, then she take off her contacts, and then he's asking her, she asked him to like help her open up a soda, and he's like, "Girl, you got the nails," and she just like take off, just like, "Here, here, here, here,
Right.
here, pick
Hit,
a nail."
hit, 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 hit.
Like, pick a nail.
And it's like, oh my God.
And so I knew that that was inspired by something,
Hmm.
but this scene was just like over the top. It's like the girl had no hair, just all her body parts. And took a leg off. It's like, girl.
Nothing was real. But also Jack is lying himself, because she said, hey, what I'm looking for is 12 inches. And Jack, like, oh, I think I've got okay. Like, nothing is cool about him. Nothing is cool about him, because someone else would have been able to finesse that conversation a little bit more. Like, somebody, a real nigga would have been able to finesse a situation so much so that he would have admitted to not having 12 inches, but made you desire him. Like,
Right.
I don't have 12 inches, but you still gonna want to fuck me. Like, that's just that. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, even the way he like cowers in the face of women, like, he is not a typical
He's not a
hero,
cool
and
guy.
I
I
just
think
love it.
yeah, because he's not the macho man.
No. And so they go up to her apartment. She's got this adorable little studio. And he's like, okay, look, I ain't got 12 inches. I'm sorry. It's okay because my eyes aren't really green. Like, so we start first. She got in context, her eyes ain't really green. Then she take off that damn wig. It jumps. It's not like, oh, my eyes aren't really green and these aren't really my nails. Like, it jumps from contacts to this is a whole wig, and I am completely
Bald
bald except for
headed.
like two strands of hair that I have put a ribbon on. This girl got a ribbon. If you go back, that girl got a ribbon on them fucking two strands of hair.
She
Okay.
like parents of like a 1-year-old toddler who just get a little bit of hair.
Yes.
Like, oh, they
Then
got a little bit of hair.
she removes her stuffed bra. Like,
Oh
she removes
yes,
the breasts are not really
padding.
real.
Yeah.
The ass is like not even padding at this point. It's like the ass is metal. She removes that. She is missing her left leg from the knee down. She has completely stripped in front of this man. I don't know why now I'm thinking of Lovecraft Country.
Oh yes,
Did you watch that?
we watched it. Yeah, we did. We
But
not
did you
review
watch
it?
all of it?
Yeah.
So his girlfriend in Korea, who was like this monster,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
it reminds me of like what larger thing is being said about this woman who is just hungry for sex, who is like this monstrous figure. I was just happy that she was like not like, I was just happy like she wasn't like heavy set and dark skinned, because I don't know. I feel like there would have been an appropriate critique
Yeah.
that would have been made about like calling a
What's
darker skinned,
desirable?
heavier
Yeah.
set woman um a monster.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I am not offended, but also I have hair on my head. I have all of my limbs. I don't wear contacts. I have big breasts. I have a butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't but I can see someone with like I can see this being problematic, but I don't really hear conversations about like we shouldn't have laughed at this. Cuz it's again, it feels
No,
light. It
it
feels very
does. Yeah.
light.
Even on the Fresh Prince, it was still like many years, few years later.
Yeah.
Um, I had wrote down black people and karate.
They
What?
love it. I am
What?
not the black girl that loves karate. Well, yeah, I do. I
I
do.
don't know if this was like a certain era. So I'm watching Wu Tang on Hulu. I've pretty much almost done with season 3. I've watched all 3
Mhm.
seasons. And the show explains how they was like really into karate. Like they spent their days watching karate movies. And I'm like, this must be a thing of kids born in the 70s. Cause it's like Bruce Lee was a hero. I don't even know the other karate guys. But I feel like there's a generation of black folks who's just like karate is their thing. And I don't know, even in Martin, we even saw with what was the character that was Dragonfly Jones?
Dragonfly. Someone probably has already done that research, but if they
I
haven't, they
know.
really should do the research of like
Let me know.
Black American masculinity and
And karate.
Asian culture,
Yes.
karate, martial arts, all of it.
And Wu
Because
Tang went far with
hella,
it, naming the whole damn group inspired because they was in karate. Like,
even now, like a lot of Black men and women like love anime, love it,
yeah,
like love it. And I'm just like,
yes,
that's something that I have not been able to get into.
me
But I
neither.
think there's something about just the dramatics of martial arts, and also like the discipline that is required of the body. I think folks want to believe that they too can master karate in the way that, like, I think there is something cool about being able to defend yourself and
Well,
being
yeah, but
able
it's
to
more
like,
than just defending yourself can be taking up boxing or any other type of fighting, but just specifically karate. It's like, why are all these karate themes and black people? Like, this is like, I'm seeing a common
yeah.
thread. Like, this is not, oh, I want to fight. I want to be a boxer. I want to kick
Even though
somebody's
a lot
ass.
of Black guys really like boxing. So
Yeah,
it's like
true.
they love Rocky, but I'm with you still. I'm with you still. Like, there is something about the Bruce
The
Lee, but I
Bruce
also think
Lee.
that this is somebody else who's like, there's a coolness to him that I
Yeah.
think that people want to emulate.
I don't know if it's like if it was available at the time. I'm thinking about older generations of black people who love like country western movies or
Mhm,
westerns. Maybe that was just a trend of the time. I don't
mhm.
know. But I do see like a common thread and I'm like, this is interesting.
I think violence has always been attractive to people in a way. Like, I think that that's why I remember watching some like 60-minute special or something like that, where they were like, why is reality television like a big deal? And it's like it's World Star. It's just, it
Yeah.
used to be, it was so salacious to see people have sex on TV, like to see real people engage in like sexual activity on the real world and stuff like that. But that got replaced with seeing people fight. People
Yeah.
want to see people fight. And so I think that that is, get like, that's all this Natalie Nunn Krishan business is. It's like, you just put people in a house and you want them to
To
fight.
fight.
You want them to argue, and you want it to lead to fisticuffs. Like, that's just that. And so I just think like that is, I don't know if that's an American thing or if that's just an everybody thing, but I think that there's just, our love affair with violence, but it's just like the stylized violence
Right.
is something that feels cool to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cheryl gets kidnapped walking down the street. She gets kidnapped by Mr. Biggs and his people to kidnap her. They got her in like this warehouse. So they finally got her. And Jack Spade and his crew gotta go rescue her. And I think this is where we get the line from Mr. Big, like, "What, you don't think a white guy can be the head of a of a crime?"
Know that he could be in a
Oh,
movie,
yeah, in the movie.
in a black exploitation movie.
When did we start getting the name Mr. Big?
I don't know. I
How
feel
old is
like
the name Mr. Big? I had so many
I
questions.
I feel like Mr. Big is a stock character that probably
When did
probably
Who
predates
was the
this
first
film.
Mr. Big? Yeah, I'm saying who was the first Mr. Big? That's what I want to know.
This is the first Mr. Big I know about. First Mr. Big I've seen.
Who is the first Mr. Big. Because we see the Mr. Big character in Sex in the City.
I
And
forgot
again,
all
it's
about Sex
I'm thinking Sex in the
and
City and R. Kelly. And
yeah.
this Mr. Big is like this mysterious character who, like, we don't see him, but we know he's important.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, it's like this mystique. It's like, oh, Mr. Big, Mr. Big. And whole through Sex in the City, Carrie's like, well, Big, what the hell is his name? Even on freaking Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kim calling her
Papa,
first, yeah,
Big
Pop. I'm
Papa,
like,
yeah.
girl, what is this?
Yeah, I feel like Mr. Big might as well be Big Daddy. It's just
That's even
like
worse.
a word that represents power and another word that represents man. So it's like Mr. Daddy, Boss, Chief. Like like this is a masculine figure who is at the top. That is
Yes.
what that
And
means. He's
white.
at the very top of the food chain.
Was there ever a black Mr. Big besides Ron Isley?
No, not that I know of. And I feel like that is the point. Cause like even in Boomerang, like who would be the Mr. Big in Boomerang? It would be like Eddie Murphy's character, but
Well, I
I
would
feel
say
like,
no because he was visible. Mr. Big, you don't see him till like the end. You never, you don't, you just hear him.
but I mean, you see Mr. Big in Sex and the City, but there
But
is
when
a,
did we see him? Because I feel I didn't watch Sex and the City chronologically, but I just kind of got the feeling that you heard about him more than you saw him.
I think we saw him quite a bit.
He
But the
came
point
first.
is, yeah, he was like her first like major love interest in the
Well,
show.
yes, but did we? When did we
But
see him? Like, how many times did you
it's
say his
like
name before we saw him?
I think we met him before we knew his name. We saw
Okay.
him before we knew his name. But the point that you are making is that there was so much about him that was kept
Yeah,
private.
secret.
You didn't know that he had an ex-wife until like season
No,
2. You didn't it's like, wait, what? You got an ex-wife? Wait, you got wait, what? Like you never knew his real name until the
nope.
very end of the last
And
episode, like, and that was supposed to represent his like emotional center being closed off to Carrie in this, and not really honoring the relationship,
right,
but so I feel like there is like you see him but not really, like he's not really accessible to Carrie in the way that you want him to
right,
be. And I feel like that same thing is kind of happening with, like, he thinks that Marcus thinks that he's Mr. Big, but it's like you're gonna meet somebody who just breaks all of that down, and you're not in control in any way. One, the board of directors are all white men, so you were never gonna be at the top of that food chain. You're at the top of the food chain with Martin and what's fabulous actor, also from In Living Color, graduated from Yale,
I know.
played in Peoples, was the father
I
of
know that.
David Allen Greer.
David,
Like
yeah,
you can be at the top of that food chain, but you, as it relates to Lady Eloise,
I was gonna
uh
say she was Mr. Big. Lady Eloise was Mr. Big.
child, Jacqueline and Stranger was
They
Mr.
was
Big.
Mr. Big more than Marcus was.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with another film and more opinions. Leave a review and tell us what you'd like for us to watch. And let's keep the convo going on Instagram. You can find us at Curry Gumbo. Be well, happy watching, love y'all, bye.